a little laugh in there because this is going to be laughable, right? But in a serious way, because you're going to be like, ah, no wonder why the cops have been harassing Nigel, his brother, other TIs for decades. See, when I talk about in my targeting early on, when I first started doing my talk show podcast, okay, and I was sharing my story, and I talk about how when I was being targeted, how I was being targeted by white supremacists, along with the white racists on the New York Police Department. All right, I was talking about leaving my job and see a white supremacist standing at the corner, with the Confederate flag on the back of his jacket, shaven head, military boots, and so I knew, something I didn't fully know then, right? And when my brother, you know, in the late '90s, was telling me what was actually one night he came to this job I was working at, and he was like, "Well, he's been harassed by the cops." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "The people at his job, you know, um, racist, of course, and you were saying that they were targeting him." And I told him, I said, "Man, you need to leave that job." Okay, that was my advice to him, which was a good advice. Okay, because again, I didn't know what was going on, so I was trying to look out for him. Like, look, if they're harassing you at your job, you need to leave. Okay, because and then again, they could have manipulated me into giving him that advice because at the time I did not know these types of technology exist. He didn't know. We were both, you know, ignorant, right? Just like a lot of people is today, ignorant, right? And how they use this technology to manipulate people into thinking that it's because like I said, for us as black people, we are the most religious, so we are the perfect specimen, the perfect group of people in which they use these technology on to manipulate us. Okay, and they've been doing that for decades. All right, so they, of course, they don't want me to do this video. Any video I do like this, they don't want me to do because again, I was, my new thing that I do now is Corrupt Cop USA, and the video I have for you guys, it's a doozy. Okay, the vast majority of police officers in the United States are white supremacists, be they white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever ethnicity, because their behavior isn't different from that of the Caucasian white supremacists. Okay? Excuse me. So, I talk about the Sambos and Sambinas, right? The Negropeans, the Hispanopeans, right? Because they joined the force, the predator force, and instead of joining and understanding their situation when they were younger, they might have had some running with these racist cops, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, I'm going to join the force to change it. But they don't change it. They become part of it. They become part of the corruption. They become part of the brutality. They become part of the murderers, part of the serial sexual assaulters, part of the serial pedophiles, part of the serial drug dealers, right, on the predator department in America. And and they stay there for as long as possible. Okay, they get passed over time and time again, even though they're bringing in more arrests. You know, getting all these awards, and those arrests is because they're targeting their own people. They're predators of their own people. And I say this: the only time that black people or Asian people or Hispanic people or any non-white people or person of color can't operate as white supremacists and as racists is in law enforcement, okay, or in corporate America, like the financial system, the financial industry, right, in which they will put a black person or and then other people of color in a position, but they know that they put them there as a token, right? Is it the token blacks, the token Hispanics, the token Asians, to say, look, we have a diversified workforce, but they don't, because those same black people, those same Hispanics, Asians, they don't hire black people, they don't hire Hispanic, Asian people, they hire white people. Okay, so diversity is not in corporate America. Diversity is not in the higher ranks within most police predator department in America. Diversity isn't within the educational system. Diversity isn't in the psychiatric industry. Diversity is not in the institution of higher learning, particularly when it comes to these prestigious colleges, right? And it has never been that way. Okay? Even in New York City in the 80s, you had a lot of black professors. Brilliant. You know, they were speaking the truth. They were writing books about black history. The truth about it, right? Not some lie. And they were being scolded and criticized and ridiculed, fired for speaking the truth. And so the reason why I say this is because the video I'm going to play for you guys, it's the Fontana Police Department in California. And, you know, I'm going to play bits and pieces because I don't want to get a copyright strike on my video. But, you know, this is one of the most, and this is talent. This is talent. I keep saying, how many more black and brown people, black and Hispanic people, not black and brown, because look, I'm black, but my color's brown. Okay, so black and Hispanic people have been incarcerated because of racist, crooked predator cops. How many black and Hispanic people have been murdered by these racist predator cops? You know, again, I want to highlight these things because, again, not only have I you know, there's a passion within me to expose all these motherfuckers. Okay? Because that anger inside of me, that is just, you know, is just there, man. Just like how they say, oh, we don't give a damn when a nigga gets killed. I don't give a damn if one of them motherfuckers get killed. That's how I feel. Okay? That is how I feel. And they're not changing my feelings because they keep harassing, doing all kind of shit. So no, my feelings ain't gonna change. Okay? And I ain't changing my feelings hoping that they'll change their feelings. Fuck that shit. They change their behavior, my feelings gonna change. Okay? Anyhow, let's get to the video. Hold on here. Where is it? There we go.
police work, when people say that there's that code of silence, it's the truth.
When you speak out against one, you're speaking out against them all.
People think it's a brotherhood of law enforcement. Well, there's also the fear of retaliation.
Have never been arrested before.
I was trying to hit the pause button, hit the wrong thing.
In police work, when people say that there's that code of silence, it's the truth.
When you speak out against one, you're speaking out against them all.
People think it's a brotherhood of law enforcement. Well, there's also the fear of retaliation.
If you're the victim of racism, sexism, if you see corruption, if you see excessive force, keep your big mouth shut or you immediately become a threat.
Right? So when I talk about the culture, and I talk about that you cannot expect the subordinates in the Federal Police Department across America to change the culture. Okay? Because it is not them who've created the culture. It is those in the high ups. Just like when I talk about the negative culture in terms of black people, right? My people, the black people, that is not our culture. That culture comes from white supremacists. That culture comes from the white racists and at the CIA, within the government, within the military, who engage in cognitive warfare against black people. Okay? That's where that culture comes from. Any negative culture that you see black people exhibiting that has been magnified, right? Because you see, black people is the only group of people in America in which we behave negatively, and then that negative culture is broadcast by the media, right? By corporations, whether it be record companies, right? Internet platform like YouTube, Instagram. Okay? And within the society. So again, this negative culture, but you have to understand why I'm saying this. Go and read the Culture Wars. The CIA, basically creates whatever culture they want. And with it, when you talk about positive black culture, that's black culture. The negative culture that is being pushed onto young people over the past 2.5 decades. That's the white supremacists creating that culture for us and using us as this tool to engage in the negative behavior, right? The delusional mindset. And again, you have to understand white supremacy. And they do it through a multifaceted warfare and a multifaceted attack mechanism. Cognitive warfare is just one part of it. Environmental warfare. Educational warfare. Psychological warfare. That's all fall under cognitive warfare. When you look at the drug culture, who created the drug culture? The CIA. When you're looking at the drugging of people within American society, who created that? The CIA. When you're looking at the sex trafficking or human trafficking, even though CIA didn't create that, but they played a big part in human trafficking and sex trafficking. There are people within our government that is criminal in nature, that have the power, status, resources to do what they're doing to us as targeted individuals and to do what they've done to black people. Okay? And they don't like it when I talk about this. Why would they? Why would they? Because I'm exposing who they are. I'm not the first one to do it. They have threatened me so many ways. Even today, my son was coming home from a pajama party, and I hear the sirens outside. And so I called him. He didn't answer. And he called me back. And he was calling me back. I was hearing the same sirens. And I said, where are you? He was like, I just got on the block. And because he just got on the block is when they started using the sirens, New York Predator Department. Okay? So the threatening of my kids, if you think that's going to keep me from this purpose, you're wrong. It is because I love my kids so much, that's why I continue to do what I do. Okay? See, they think by engaging in this behavior, these threats against me, right, and trying to use me as an example for others not to follow, that others not going to follow. That they're going to bribe you with money, you're going to take it and shut up, and you're going to be the gatekeeper. Okay, they're going to threaten your kids and you're going to shut up. They're going to threaten your life and you're going to shut up. They're going to threaten your family and you're going to shut up. But you see, there's a future out there that they don't want to have. And it's going to come. And in that future, they're not going to be in power. And in that future, which they will try to destroy by any means necessary, as Malcolm X says, because they've already sent me a subliminal message or transmission saying that they will use the nuclear option. These racist people, Caucasians, are willing to go scorch earth in order to prevent the rise of black people in this country. This is why they have assassinated past black leaders. Now, what they've been doing for the past 30, 40 years is engage in cognitive warfare and neurocognitive warfare. And the police departments across America, the predator departments, are flooded with white supremacists.
And it's as black and white as the police cars that we drive.
And shout out to, this is from The Intercept. Okay. Like I said, when there's certain news outlet I listen to, I watch, I read, because they're not American corporate media. We know the CIA runs American corporate media.
This is Fontana Police Department, where I worked for 17 years, devoted 17 long years of my life, but yet I was walked out like a common criminal.
So you have police officers, black police officers, Hispanic police officers working in police departments that they know that their colleagues are racist. Okay? And they will stay on that job for 20, 30 years. They will adopt the mindset. Okay? And the only time they will speak out is when they're continuously being passed over for promotion. So even when they're being called racist names, they don't say anything. but they've been there 15 years, 20 years, see white police officers who don't perform as quite as well as they do get promoted, and they don't get promoted, and so now they're angry. And again, that's a person that I cannot respect. If you see a fellow officer assaulting and violating the right of a citizen, of a human being, it is your duty to step in. But they won't. They will not. That code of silence is there for a reason. And I talked about this. Talked about the police officer who was beaten by these white racist cops during one of the protests. Even though he told them he was a cop, they didn't believe him. You know, didn't even give him a chance to show his identification. They beat the shit out of him. Okay, and then these white racists had the audacity to go to his hospital room to get him not to file a complaint. That is, and again, what that shows me is that they believe that they condition black police officers, Hispanic police officers, and other non-white police officers, that they've conditioned them to the point where they believe that when things like this happen, that they can actually talk them into not filing a complaint. Okay? Again, they don't even understand how they're being manipulated. Their white colleagues do, though. Okay? Their white colleagues certainly do.
So what you do is you let this portion spin in your hand, and you would lift your own hand up so you don't end up striking any portion of your body. And you would whip it frontwards and backwards. One of the things that attracted me to the position of law enforcement was going to the police station with my dad. And that, of course, makes quite an impression on a young man seeing your father in uniform. And my assumption was that anything that law enforcement did was okay, or otherwise they couldn't do it.
We all go back to the Adam 12 TV series, where I would watch as a kid how professional they were. It's a prestigious position.
And in 2000, I decided to get closer to my home. So I looked through the Inland Empire, and the Fontana Police Department seemed like an organization that I could happily work for.
This was my uniform that I wore.
As soon as I signed up with the Fontana Police Department, I started noticing it was different. It was a predominantly Caucasian organization, which I didn't have a problem with. But I did notice that the minorities there seemed very stressed and very reserved. As of 2008, you can only see one black officer there, another black officer here, this guy was a recruit, and myself.
So this is as of 2008. So imagine even today, right? Back then, 2008, you had 3 black officers there, right? As a police force of a predator force of 200 predator officers. Okay, 200 predator officers, and you only had 3 black officers there. Now imagine the things that they've done, these racists. Imagine how many crimes that they've gotten away with. How many crimes that they've committed.
And that's it. So a total of 3 out of over 200 officers.
It was a culture shock. I started realizing that, for a community that's, 70% Hispanic, the numbers of the department were really disproportionate.
Now here's the thing. You will never see a white town where you have let's say not a white town, let's say a predominantly white town, right? Let's say the residents are 70% white. You will never see a police department where you have more black and Hispanic officers than white officers. But you see that all the time, even when you have communities that is 90% Hispanic and black, right? The vast majority of police officers are white. But you would never see that in reverse.
All the upper management was all white. I was one of the few Mexican-American police officers. I had heard the stories of former Mexican-American police officers that worked at Fontana PD and left, specifically because of racism. One thing to say about racism, you can't see it, but you can certainly feel it. And I felt it.
And you know what kills me? Is that you have the black Sambos and Sambinas. They'll get mad because I'm calling them black Sambos and Sambinas. Because that's what you are. That's what you are. Okay? If you are engaging in the same predatory tactics against your very own people, you're a Sambo and you're a Sambina. I mean, it speaks for itself.
There's a lot of history in Fontana that people don't realize. So as we go down on Banana Street, we'll approach the steel mill. This was the bread and butter for many years for Fontana blue-collar workers.
Fontana.
Past. Well, it wasn't necessarily that far from the past. One day, I had a call in this area, and I came across a rather large house, and I found out that it was actually the home of the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
To do a ninja hunt, and I'm like thinking, what the hell's a ninja hunt? Later, I found out a ninja was a derogatory term for African American.
I would be in the locker room getting dressed, and I'd hear the word nigger thrown around, and I'd go around and look who it was, and here you have two supervisors standing there with an astonished look on their face like, "Oop, we've been caught."
BAMA is an acronym, and it stands for Black Male Adult. BAFA is a Black Female Adult. And this is stuff that they say on the radio. I got a BAMA running from me southbound on, Sierra. Like, it doesn't sound like they're humans.
You could tell that they didn't want nothing to do with the Mexican community. They would make fun of me, saying, "Oh, you're probably into cockfighting. You know what you Mexicans do."
I mean, like I said, imagine being in the police department. You know it's racist, but you put your head down just so you can get along. I can't do that. That's not me. That's not me. I mean, people will say, "Oh, you were brave." No, that's not bravery. That's cowardice. Okay? That's cowardice.
There was a time when I was on patrol, and it's Christmas time, and Fontana is predominantly, Hispanic. So they thought it'd be funny to run a game to impound cars with Christmas trees.
Okay? But those behaviors are still happening today. And it's not just in Fontana, it's all over. It's in New York, it's in Atlanta, it's in Chicago, it's in Florida, it's in Pennsylvania, it's in every state in America. Why? Because we are living under a system of white supremacy. And too many of my Negropean brothers and sisters have refused to recognize that religion has got them so ignorant to the reality and to the truth that they don't even want to acknowledge it. Okay? You can't, What you think is going to happen when it starts getting worse? Okay? When their delusion is going to be shattered. Okay? Now, I talk about how government have been creating mental illness within the society. Okay? Creating mental illness within the society is a way in which government can control you. They can make you believe more narrative. What they do is that they make you susceptible to mind control and brainwashing just by affecting your psychological state. Your education, if you are non-white, makes you susceptible to psychological manipulation. I talked about this in the 80s and 90s. You have white people going on weekend retreats to learn about neurolinguistic programming. Okay, to be able, neurolinguistic programming is a psychological program in which they use triggers and anchors. Okay, they're supposed to have good use, right? And that's fine. But there's also a darker element that's called dark NLP. So you have to really understand just how much there are people out there, white people out there, at your job, you know, as your so-called friend, who have been trained in how to psychologically manipulate you. Okay? You don't believe me? Go look at the what's the young kid name? Jordan, in Florida, when it's the Stand Your Ground case. Okay? Why was it that black people were so shocked that Florida had a stand your ground law, but white people was not? White people wasn't shocked because they knew. So how did they know but didn't tell it to any black person, even their black co-workers or their black friends? That even the state black legislators didn't even know. Do you know how devious you have to be to do that? Again, like I said, I don't have to lie. I don't have to get anybody to lie for me. I don't got to make shit up. I don't got to get people to form a gang or a cult to attack anybody. I just speak the truth. There's plenty of evidence out there to show. There's plenty of truth out there to show.
You'd be ruining the Christmas of undocumented people, which is cruel.
When I achieved the award of Officer of the Year, I was told by several close Caucasian colleagues that they said that they can't believe they gave the award to a nigger.
Okay. Now listen to what he just said. Let me go back again because this is unbelievable.
Achieved the award of Officer of the Year, I was told by several close Caucasian colleagues that they said that they can't believe they gave the award to a nigger. You look at...
And let me tell you something. There are 3 black people in that police department. So if you think that he's lying, he's not. He's not.
In my arrest record, and you look at the things that I accomplished, it far surpassed most of my white colleagues. Yet every time a promotion came around, I was skipped over. There was a time where I became intrigued with the symbology that I've noticed within the department. Not only was it closely related to neo-Nazi paraphernalia, it was also related to local street gangs that are white supremacists, such as Hell's Angels. If you look closely here at this patch, you'll see the sinister red eyes on this owl. And you'll see the keys depicted here in the skull of this owl. And you'll see RRT, which is supposed to stand for Rapid Response Team. These were Nordic runes. I searched throughout the United States law enforcement databases and throughout the internet. I've never found any agency who utilizes Nordic runes, which are related to white supremacy, for their logos. Officers would actually wear these patches, and they also had this symbol inside of the chief's office at one time. This is not a coincidence that we find these same symbols on white supremacists that we find for Fontana Police Department.
Well, it's not just the Fontana Police Department. Okay? It is not just the Fontana Police Department. Now I'm trying to find okay. There you go. I'm gonna do this. For the Negropeans that live in New York City and who like to talk about there's no racism, who like to smile in the face of the people that hate them, who get happy when their neighborhood get gentrified and they see their black neighbors move up because they can't afford to pay the rent, and so they feel special and lucky because, you know, they can afford to, right? That when they see these racist cops, they start smiling and, you know, acting all friendly and what have you. But, you know, when they see a black man, a black woman, or a black kid, they're hostile towards them. They're, you know, they'll treat them as so-called criminals. Without understanding that these people, they look at you as criminals. They don't care if you have a business suit on, you're driving a Mercedes Benz. That matter of fact, that make it worse. You got a business suit on, you driving a Mercedes Benz. You gonna tick them off, right? They're gonna say, why this nigger driving a Benz? I can't even afford that on my salary. Let's stop him. See what he does. Let's put drugs on him, right? Let's give him a record. All right, that's their job. We need to wake up and we need to let them know that, look, we know what it is that you're doing and it needs to stop. If I get back to the video, on a side note, waking out of the dream, right, the delusion, reveal NYPD complaint surge under Adams, and we have a black mayor, okay, to reach highest level since 2012. And this black mayor brought back stop and frisk. You as a black man, you know the damage, the hurt, the pain, the lives destroyed by the stop and frisk policy, which again was ruled unconstitutional, violate the rights of people of New York, particularly black and Hispanic people, and yet you bring it back? Record shows display of impunity and instance of officer wearing possible white supremacist morale patches. The New York City Department disciplinary issues are coming to a head during the third year of tough on crime Mayor Eric Adams' administration. With complaints at their highest rate since 2012, stop and frisk encounters soaring and display the impunity by rank and file officers, according to interviews and data from the city's independent police watchdog agency. Disciplinary records and interviews with sources also reveal a persistent problem with instances of NYPD officers wearing morale patches on their bulletproof vests, possibly containing white supremacist imagery. This is an uncomfortable echo of 4 years ago, when the NYPD riot squad plummeted protesters and cops openly wore pro-Trump imagery, flashed white supremacist symbols while on duty, and were discovered in membership lists of extremist militias. Okay? So again, I've been saying this for years. And then the FBI came out and said, yeah, there's a problem with white supremacist infiltration in police departments across America. No, FBI. There's white supremacists in your organization. There's white supremacists in all police department in America. All. So, like I said, they can, they keep sending me their threats and do whatever they want to do. I can't stop you, but I'm gonna expose you. Okay? I'm not afraid. Will never be. Was I afraid in the past? Yes. Didn't know what was happening to me. As anybody will be. Right? But the way to understanding cognitive warfare is to develop a critical thinking mind. It's to understand the trauma, the fear-based trauma programming. It's to understand the technology, silent sound spread spectrum, microwave radio frequency, in which they can manipulate you and I. The emotional manipulation, emotional warfare, under the umbrella of cognitive warfare, is a very powerful form of warfare. Okay? It is, let me just read this again, all right? Writing in The War of the Rocks, French Air Force and Space Force officer, as I said, rocks, they love to use these sirens. And I know I've been ignoring the sirens and stuff outside it because, this is, they're watching, okay? And they're like, oh, that's not my, yes, it is. It's your department. It's you. It's you. I understand your mindset. I know your personality traits. It's you. All right? And Space Force Officer David Pappalardo analyzed what makes cognitive warfare unique. And I talk about this. They practice these things on black people. Okay? When you look at how the police department become so militarized, operating in the civilian space, they have to train. And how do they train? They train on black people. Okay? We are training for them. Okay? Cognitive warfare is a multidisciplinary approach combining social sciences and new technology to directly alter the mechanism of understanding and decision making in order to destabilize or paralyze an adversary, he suggested. In other words, it aims to hack the heuristic of the human brain in an attempt to win the war before the war. Okay? So, if they can manipulate you, if they can control you, if they can defeat your mind and leave you as a fraction of yourself, then you're no longer a threat. Right? If they can put you in a position to where they have total dominance over you, total control over you, using a variety of tactics, whether it be setups and frame-ups, whether it be setting you up, right? Dangling the carrot in front of your eyes, money, status. Okay? Yeah, you got a nice house. He don't want to lose that. She don't want to lose that, right? So she gonna be a good little, he gonna be a good little gatekeeper for us. Okay? No, thank you. If I cannot uplift my people, not just by speeches, economically, socially, environmentally, educationally, if you are going to give me all that money, but I can't do that, you can keep your money. It's okay. It's okay. You can keep your money. And yes, you can keep your money. Okay. Echoing the strategic vision of French Chief of the Defense Staff General Thierry Boucard, according to Pappalardo, this style of warfare is a function of cyber operation and narrative warfare. What have I been talking about? I talk about certain narratives that they love to create against us TIs, right? Of who you are, what you did, what you've done, right? You must, as I said, as a targeted individual, you must understand that there isn't anything that you could have done or couldn't do. Okay? It is out of your hands. When you have people that control every facet of your life, your outcome is the outcome what they've given you. Okay? That you must understand. Okay? Which is designed to manipulate an adversary's civilians or military personnel, even during peacetime, that can cause influence, paralysis, or confusion. Simply, he noted that cognitive warfare is the art of the exploitation of competing brain function. These three observations that war has always implied a dialectic of wills and intelligence, that strategy is a science of the other, and that information is a weapon that offers a strategic advantage, inform the cognitive warfare approach to strategic thinking, he contends. The primary difference between cognitive warfare and traditional perception of information and psychological warfare is the introduction of social and cognitive neuroscience to change brain functions. Acting on information is only acting on the data that feeds cognition, whereas cognitive warfare seeks to act on the process of cognition itself. The object is to act not only on what individuals think, but also the way they think, thus conditioning the way they act, he noted. Okay? Now, again, like I keep saying, you look at black people in America. We are the victim of cognitive warfare and neurocognitive warfare. All right? So that's just a little side note. Just want to put things in context. Okay? Yeah, I said that was a little side note. Right?
It shows to an outsider that this agency is sympathetic and believes in the same ideologies as your street white supremacist gang member.
And I'm so glad he said that, because like I said, these police departments are federally authorized criminal gangs. Okay? They only need police officers in name, but they are predators. Highly trained, some highly specialized predators.
My name is Alan Hofstetter. I am the founder and chairman of the American Phoenix Project. Some of you know I was one of those guys that was out there at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. How many of you here know that that was a total false flag staged event? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
1776!
Recently, I was made aware that our former Deputy Chief, Alan Hofstetter, was involved in the insurrection at the Capitol.
Again, if we talk about the infestation, it's been the police department in America was a white supremacist establishment. Okay? From the start. So, you think it's going to be different? Okay. And now, because they've been engaging in cognitive warfare against the black community and black people in general, this is why you see these police chiefs who are black upholding the system of white supremacy in the predator department across America. They're not acting any different. Yeah, their skin color is different, but they're not acting any different. Their ideology is the same. Right? So let me ask you this, Negropeans. How come you always think that y'all better because y'all Christians? Just like the white supremacists feel that they're better because they're Christian and white supremacists. Except you don't see yourself as a white supremacist, but you are. That's cognitive warfare. Until you develop a conscious mind, until you start loving yourself and the people that look like you, just like they love themselves, and the people that look like them. But they're also, again, when I talk about this, what you've been seeing over the past few years is now you start to see white people also being victimized by police officers, predator officers, but not the black ones, the white ones. So the white racist police officers can brutalize his own kind, you and I as black people, Hispanics, Asians, but Hispanic, Asians, and black police officers cannot brutalize white people. Go figure, huh? Now tell me that you have not been conditioned.
President Trump must be inaugurated. There must be long prison terms, while execution is the just punishment for the ringleaders of this coup.
So, execution. And Trump just got a second term. And they're mad at me because I donate to the new Black Panther Party. Well, I'll be a fool not to. Any black person in America will be a fool not to. But Negropeans are conditioned to ignore these things, to not see the reality. As a TI, I have no choice but to see the reality because it's in my face every single day. Even when I'm in my bedroom, as I am right now, they're listening, using sirens. I get up in the morning, they're flying helicopters over my apartment building, airplanes. As soon as I wake up, they engage in extreme noise campaign. Why? To attack my nervous system, to attack my mind. Why do you think that is? Because when I leave to go out with my nervous system attacked and then being psychologically harassed, is to do what? So that I can elicit the fight or flight phenomenon. And if I do it in an extreme way, then who knows what will happen, right? So again, me understanding that is the reason why yeah, it may affect my nervous system and I might be very nervous, okay? But I use my defense mechanism. I'm not going to tell you what it is. They know. I'll tell you some of it, right? Particularly with the colors. And I start doing certain things like I bought 2 extra rings for my fingers. I'm going to get some more though. Since they love to use rings and shit like that, I'm going to use it back on them too. Like I said, I study, I observe, and then I develop my defense mechanism, and then I implement it. And they will adjust. They will adjust. And when they adjust, I'll study, and I implement my adjustment.
Shocked that any law enforcement officer would have participated in any attack against our.
Now, again, he said he's shocked. Why would you be shocked? You know, but you have to understand how certain people speak, right? What is called double speak. He knows. He knows, but he doesn't want the viewers to think critically, right? Oh, well, he's not racist. He's fine. Listen, racist people have a very good way of hiding their racism. Okay, they are expert at hiding their racism. As a matter of fact. Okay.
Country's Capitol building. Not to mention the fact that many officers were hurt and injured during that incident. He's a person that spiraled out into these extremist views because of the environment that he was raised in there.
And like I said, how many? I'm going to let you fill in the blanks.
Over the course of my career, I started hearing about complaints of use of force and police brutality. In custody deaths, I started hearing about the stomping of the trachea and the crushing of another person's spleen. And 3 people died in a matter of 5 months. I personally witnessed when officers were involved in questionable shootings or violent acts. Instead of them being disciplined, they actually were promoted.
Okay, and then, but what did you do? See? What did you do? See, that's my issue. All right? I mean, I appreciate this. But when these things were happening, what did you do? When it matters, you did nothing.
Here we are today, and we're starting to see more and more cases arise. Very few have garnered discipline from the administration.
You want to talk about racism? I got a story for you. In 1994, I was assigned to our crime prevention unit. Myself and another employee from the unit were asked to attend an autopsy of a murder victim by the name of Jimmy Burleson.
As he said, autopsy. You know, I already tell you, they already sent me transmission, said we're gonna frame you. We already got a body for you. Motherfuckers, bring the body. You can have 10 and 20. Okay.
And Jimmy Burleson was an African-American male, and he had been found behind a Kentucky Fried Chicken. So at one point during the autopsy,
I'm not going to show this part right here. Just hold on a sec. But I'm going to just let it play.
see, there was this technician, and he comes in and he looks at the victim and says, "Hey, did you notice this over here?" And he's pointing, and I'm not sure what he's pointing at. What it ended up being was an eaten drumstick from a piece of chicken. And he goes on to say, wow, looks like even though he was getting stabbed to death, he still managed to hold on to the fried chicken. This technician had just returned from lunch, and he went back and retrieved one of his eaten drumsticks and placed it in his hand. I think he thought we were going to laugh right away. But we had a visceral reaction to it. It was just absolutely horrible. I reported it, but pretty much in the end, the case was corrupt. I don't think anything happened as far as any investigation, and certainly not any,
See what he did in that moment? And I understand why the black cop didn't do. I understand, okay? But I want you to understand, see what he did in that moment? He went and filed a complaint. Okay? Was there any retaliatory action against him? Probably not. So I understand the line that, you know, non-white police officers have to tiptoe over, but you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. Right? So whether they'll retaliate against you or they'll fire you, eventually what's going to happen is that the environment is going to become so toxic that they're going to retaliate against you anyway. And for doing nothing. All right? Or for just, you know, stepping in and say, hey, you cannot violate this person, right? Okay? Because you've let them get away with it for so long without saying anything, that when you do decide to step in because you had enough of it, and trust me, it will build up in you. Right? I know. How they've been targeting me. Listen, there are times when literally I'm so angry. Okay? But I look at the bigger picture. It is my purpose to expose this. And they will do things in order to try to manipulate me into having either an emotional outburst or a physical outburst. And, you know, like I just said, I just use my defense mechanism.
Disciplinary action.
Okay. So I want to get to this part right here where he's talking about his lawsuit.
The final straw was when my partner Andy Anderson and I were falsely accused of misconduct by the Fontana Police Department.
My career was basically done to the point where I would always be an officer. I would never promote. So my dreams of making lieutenant, of making captain, and making positive
this is what they do to prevent you from being promoted. Okay? A lot of times, these Black and Hispanic officers don't even realize that they themselves are being set up by the people in their own departments so that they would not get any sort of raises or any promotion.
change were gone. They were dead.
Let me tell you something. It's funny because when I was doing this, I was kind of moving my hands, and you know, I had my finger like a gun, right? And then he used the call home. Listen, here's the thing, right? And again, this is what cowards do. Cowards in gangs, cowards who are in positions of power, that they use us as their plaything, their toys, that they can manipulate us, they can poison our food, they can poison our water, they can leave lead paint in the apartments, the houses that we live in, right? They can take away our intelligence because they can. So if you think threatening me, you're going to assassinate me, is going to scare me, it's not. Okay? You see, here's the thing that white supremacists fail to understand, right? Is that when you do things to a person and that person has a strong conviction of what you did to them was wrong, there ain't nothing that you're going to do to stop that person from speaking other than to institutionalize them or to assassinate them. Okay? And you're going to have to do those things in order to silence me.
City council personnel, I reported it to them. I wrote numerous grievances to them.
So Dave and I had talked, and we said, you know what, this needs to stop. They think they could do whatever they want, destroy people's lives, and they're not going to do that to us.
No update on the mediation hearing that we just attended. In 2016, we decided to file a discrimination lawsuit against the Fontana Police Department. In this lawsuit, we outlined the various discriminatory actions and the fact that we were retaliated against and skipped over for promotion. I hoped it would bring change. After I filed the lawsuit, I expected them to back off. But instead, the anger intensified and they wanted to make a statement and an example.
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. They want to punish you. They want to make an example out of you. They want to terrorize you. They retaliate against you in every and any way. Because that is the mindset of dark triads. That is the mindset of the psychopath, the sociopath, the narcissistic personality on the high scale. Okay? They are very retaliatory. And because you speak out against them, because you speak the truth of who they are, like I said, they fear the truth. These are the same people who will go to church on a Sunday, right? Will say however Hail Marys. They will put on a uniform and they will go hunt niggas. They will execute us. They will abuse us. They will brutalize us. And they know that there isn't anything we can do. And when people get upset, they get tired, they march. And any leader that emerge or they feel or believe could be a leader, they'll destroy that person. See, these marches do two things against black people. It's we continue to show the world that we are powerless. And two, we continue to give them their next targets so they can destroy any black leaders, any young black civil rights leader, organizer, or organizers. And with the COINTELPRO taking down of Black Lives Matter, we are no longer seeing the mass protests, even though black people continue to still be killed. As I said, the taking down of the Black Lives Matter, a whistle. Yeah. Call me crazy. It's okay. But all you got to do is look around you and look at the reality and know what the truth is.
A lot of us.
I was already suffering from anxiety disorders and some other issues, like you couldn't sleep and stuff. And I was walked into the captain's office and they told me they were worried about my mental well-being.
Yeah, of course.
They sent me to the doctor and I was ruled, mentally unfit to be an officer, and I never went.
There you go. Like I said, there you go. Right? And they use it against us. It's not just officers like you that use it. They use it against us. They use it against black men and black women who suffer brutality at their hands, who they engage in all sorts of manipulative tactics against. And because they know that the simplest way to discredit you is to label you as mentally ill. Right? Now, mind you, when they attack you, you will suffer mentally. They will injure you mentally. And them doing that to you, now they can label you with a mental illness.
Back to work another day.
They falsely accused me of violating a department policy by leaving my wife on my insurance until I was completely divorced, and they forced me out.
Won't need that ever again.
This case has been going on 6 years.
Law enforcement investigative material, done.
We've lost an exorbitant amount of money, and we have had to downsize into a much smaller house.
Better.
Okay? So, I mean, it's tragic. It's tragic. That's why I don't smile at these people. Okay? Because they don't have any good intention. And that's the vast majority. Again, I'm going to say this. It's not all, but it's the vast majority. They don't have any good intention, particularly towards black people. All right? And they're trying to suppress our emotions as they ramp up the abuse, the murders of unarmed and innocent black people. That's what they're doing.
Worth recycling. Let me keep it. The process of this lawsuit has been excruciatingly tiring, and it's caused a tremendous amount of stress on my family.
Ready for school tomorrow.
Headed to school. It's a big boy. I love you. Yeah. You tired?
Yeah.
Papa's tired too. I can never ever get this case to end. I have to constantly think about it, and I have to constantly revisit the pain that
Well, let me tell you, man.
that was inflicted upon me over the course of my career there.
I feel for you. You know, I hope you you persevere and you win. And you know, but this is what happens to a lot of black police officers who stood up, who have waited by the sidelines, wanting to see that they're being discriminated against. I think sometimes they wait a little too long, but you know, I understand. This is why I said you have to change the culture from the top. You have to get rid of these dark triads in those positions. The only how you're going to change the culture. Okay? And as I said, that I use the the spitting sound. That's right. I'm gonna say it again. You have to get rid of the vast majority of these commanders, these sergeant, whatever, precinct commanders, the higher ranks. You need a totally different mindset. But that's not going to happen. Okay? That's not going to happen. All right? So, again, remember, the U.S. Constitution guarantees the people the right to form public militias, particularly when the government have become tyrannical and the government have ceased to do the job up for the people and is more focused on making the wealthy even wealthier. The Constitution guarantees you that right. And you need to know this. And you need to fight for it. And when you fight for it and they see that you're serious, then you start to see change. Not that slow change, but you'll see a faster change. They're going to still control things. Okay, but they're going to know that if they're not doing the job of the people, that there's a possibility that they will no longer be in those positions. Okay, remember, I'm not telling you to do anything, but the Constitution guarantees that. Okay? All right, so let's get to my video, and I hope this video is not get a copyright strike, because, you know, I mean, they'll probably try. But anyhow, let's get to the targeted individual experience, targeted individual program videos. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see here.
it was. Anyhow, follow the next one block east coast. It's because I had west. So yeah, they sent the person on the bus. Again, a lot of them ran red. Right?
Okay, there you go. All right, let's go. That's it? Yeah, there you go.
All right, color red.
Yes.
Is that a call there before? Not quite sure. I don't think it was. Anyhow, color red today. One block. Is it because I have on a wet sweater? Hold on a sec.
Again, is color.
Hold on a sec. Let me show you guys.
Means rage.
See, got on the red sweater.
Right? I think I mentioned that in one of my
Oh, yeah.
videos that I uploaded earlier.
Remind me of the good old days. Right, and I say remind me of the good old days. What do you think I mean? I mean in the very beginning of my target. No matter what color shirt I wear, particularly during the spring and summer, or sweater. As soon as I got outside, there'll be somebody on my block wearing the exact same color. The exact same color. Okay? So how do they do it? How do they do it? Well, the surveyor, like I said, in-home surveillance. Alright, and then remote monitoring also. So when you're in the home, they be able to identify everything that's in your home through the remote monitoring, meaning that because of you've been implanted with a microchip, the AI is decoding whatever you see, identifying colors, shapes, right? Variations in colors, right? And as well as your thoughts. So your clothing item. And so what they'll do, because you're in the home, and again, they have people in your community who's part of it targeting you, every item that you buy, they know. Every color, every shade, they know. Because you're being surveyed, you're being watched.
That's right. That's part of warfare. All right. How many times have you seen in the movies? And again, the movie, sometimes art reflect life, particularly when your movie has to do with the CIA and they're looking for somebody. I want to know what color, everything that he buys or whatever. I want to know what color his piss is. I want to know. It's like the intrusion on your life, your privacy. It's unbelievable, right? As TIs, we have no privacy. We have no privacy. And they will find ways to justify what it is they're doing to you, violating your privacy. They will create ways, not find ways, but they will create ways to justify the gross negligence of your right to privacy.
Right? It's one of the ways in which they can mindfuck you as a human being in terms of, making you paranoid. Right? That's the extent that they do. Use technology. Give you an example. Got upstairs, my computer, turned on my computer, and I noticed that my computer is not connected to the Wi-Fi network. At least the network name. Because I have a few of them. Right? Using Wi-Fi 6. So again, you have the 2.4 gigahertz band. You have the 5.4 gigahertz band. And you have another 5.8 gigahertz band. Right? So they each have their own name. And I noticed that I wasn't connected to I couldn't see the 2 5Gs, I think, 2 5 gigahertz band. So I couldn't connect to the 5 gigahertz band, the 5.4 gigahertz band, right? And I'm like, what the hell is going on here, right? So then I remember I did an update of Windows, okay? So I had to do a system restore. And as I was doing the system restore, they sent out the president department, who started making noise with their sirens, right? And
yep, because sometimes these updates, all right, you gotta be very careful with these Windows updates, right? Because we know that they have backdoor to the Windows operating system, and they can manipulate that through the updates within the Windows operating system. I've experienced it many times. And so I had to, because again, it shouldn't have, like, how come how come the 5G, right, wireless band, it doesn't see it, right? And I have a Wi-Fi 6 Wi-Fi card, right? PCIe card, okay, in the computer, and I have a Wi-Fi 6 wireless router. Okay, so it should be able to, see the 5 gigahertz band, right? But it was only showing the 2.4 gigahertz band. I go to my son's computer, turn on his computer, and the 5 gigahertz wireless band, I can see it on his computer. I can see it on my phone. My phone is connected using the 5 gigahertz band, except for my computer. And like I said, as I was trying to do the restore point, I noticed that I couldn't find the restore point. I'm like, wait a minute, I've done this before. Why is it, because before my computer used to just restart, right? It was continue to just, and this, again, it's never happened before. Okay. And only when they start messing with the network and messing with my computer, it's to frustrate you. Right? So my computer will constantly restart, and I have to always go and do a restore, go to another restore point. Right? Then it's fine. So the same thing was happening now, except that now they're doing the harassment again through these updates, and to where my computer cannot connect using the 5 gigahertz band, only the 2.4 gigahertz band, Wi-Fi band. Right?
Again, when I was, here's another thing too. With the latest update that I have in Windows, they didn't have the option for a restore point before they had. So I wonder why they do that. Why did they take out the option to restore your computer to a previous point before you start having issues in it, right? There's a reason why they do that. Okay? And so of course I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, I know it's supposed to be here, it's supposed to see a restore point. What's going on here? So I ended up having to watch a video on YouTube and went straight through use the executed command, the execute command to pick a restore point, which I did, boot up my computer, right, restart my computer. And now the fast network band, my computer connected to it. All right? And all the time I'm doing this, the New York Police Department is trying to intimidate me by using their sirens. Okay? So, I want you to understand how they, in terms of cognitive warfare, use the Internet of Things to manipulate, to surveil, to harass, to target, even in the Windows operating system. Because again, that was a very, it wasn't always easy to find, but you know where to go, right? So I had to find the fecal department. Okay? And, of course they was upset that I was able to connect to the 5.4 gigahertz band. And, they started using the fire trucks. All right? And I'm just like shaking my head like, damn, man. These people are just like really ridiculous, doing all this shit.
Hold on a sec.
Fecal department. Okay? And, of course they was upset that I was able to connect to the 5.4 gigahertz band. And, they started using the fire trucks. All right? And I'm just like shaking my head like, damn, man. These people are just like really ridiculous, doing all this shit. They really are. But, that's who they are. Psychopaths and sociopaths, dog trap personality treatment. Coincidentally, I was actually sharing some videos on sociopath, psychopaths, what are the differences between the two personality types. as well as narcissism and the dark triad. Right? Well, they didn't like that. So when they got the sociopath, they started using horn. So I was like, okay, well, the definition of a sociopath is someone who don't care about other people's feelings, someone who's, no empathy, right? Who will lie and do whatever to get what they want. And I was like, that's police officers. We see them lying all the time. We see them killing people and then telling them, he's just sleeping. Hey, wake up, buddy. No, you choked the man. You choked him to death. He told you he couldn't breathe. Right? And then when he dies from being choked to death, you acting like if he's sleeping. I watched a video today, again, very disturbing. Again, a cop choked the man to death. And then, after 2 minutes of him being non-responsive, all of a sudden now they want to render some sort of aid, right? Chest pumps, right? But for 2 whole minutes, they're like, wake up.
And again, chokehold is banned. And any police department that allows it, asking for trouble, really. That is something that you should not do. There are other ways to restrain an individual. But like I said, whenever they can feel like they can get away with murder, particularly murdering a black person, they're going to jump at the opportunity. Okay? They even got to think twice about it. But in this case, this wasn't a black person. This was a white man. Okay?
There's a reason why they ban chokeholds. But these cops don't care. So tell me again, who's the sociopath? Who was the psychopath? Who are the ones displaying those personality traits? Huh? Not us as TIs, okay? All right? Remember I talked about law enforcement have the highest number of psychopaths and sociopaths.
What these people do because they're in a position of power, okay, is they can label you. I'll label you this, I'll label you that, I'll label you that, okay? That's what they do, right? But yet, when police officers violate the rights of citizens, when police officers murder innocent people, these same people who are going to label you and I and give us these names, these labels, right? They don't label those cops that. They don't give them those labels. And those cops are far worse. Okay? And why is that? Because again, operating under the system of white supremacy, the white supremacists in certain positions of power dictates who is who and what is what.
Those with dark personality traits than any group of people in the society. Law enforcement have the most sociopath, psychopath, and dark triad personality traits. All right, that's what you guys do.
Okay. So this other video, before I play it, I want to play a video from yesterday. Now, I uploaded this video yesterday, okay? But I want to show you guys, give you guys an example, even though you guys see it. If you watch the video, you probably saw it. But I want to show you when I talk about how they do these types of bribe, this psychological bribe of having people come up to me or walk towards me and then take out stacks of cash and start counting in front of me. It's another example, okay? Now, apparently, they're doing this because, they shadow ban my video. So, what can I do, right? But I'm still putting it out there. All right, not this one. Which one is it?
Welcome back to a brand new video of the Talking Video program, Talking Experience. So one of the tactics that they'll do too is that whenever I'm leaving, they're willing to put people in the hallway talking.
Yeah, they've been doing that for the past couple of days. Okay, and like I said, I wait to see if it's a pattern, right? And for the past few days, it's the exact same thing that's been happening.
They've been doing that for the past couple of days, particularly yesterday. So just want to document you guys.
I'm leaving now, right?
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to a brand new video. Talking Video program. So like I was saying, this is what they do. They did the same thing yesterday too. When
Also, this video, right, was also playing in slow motion. Okay, so I had to go back and use the hardware encoding or hardware decoding, I should say. Is it encoding? Let me see. Hardware decoding, okay, so that it can play at normal speed.
Got here. That's what they did. The exact same thing. Even when I was leaving last night, they did the exact same thing, right? Which they had people come out into the.
Now, again, you see, watch what they do.
They did the exact same thing.
Okay, hold on a sec. Let me do this.
Right.
No.
Which they had people come out into the.
Now, why did I slow that? Because again,
when I
how she
got here,
her hands in
that's what they did.
I mean, down the, you know,
The exact same thing. Even when I was leaving last night, they did the exact same thing, right? Which they had people come out into the hallway and started speaking again. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's a tactic that they've done before, many times before. So being able to, like I said, whenever they rehash certain things, if I'm able to record it, I'm going to record it. Because if I miss the opportunity before.
Oh yeah, and even today when it was sending me these transmissions, these subliminal messages, you know, and I was, I think I was, with the New York Predator Department, right? Like whenever I walk towards the door, they start using the sirens, whoop whoop, right? They're like, you know, right, just like that, you know, like whenever I walk towards the door, the front door. And so I started singing, I see you when I see you, but I wouldn't want to be you, right? And then they started to hijack my consciousness, right? And then controlling my mind, controlling my eyes to look at things, and particularly anything that's black. And whenever I look at something that's the color black, they'll use the call horn. All right, like again, trying to use the color black as a, you know, the weaponization of the color black, I should say, as a tool to affect my emotions and my thought patterns. Okay?
I definitely not going to miss the opportunity now in terms of exposing them. Yeah, so I left my cane at home, in the house, I should say. I left it in the house. Took a muscle relaxer, so I just gotta, I usually walk on my leg. It's a slightly more spread apart because of my balance issue. But, you know, like I said, if you're injured in any way, if you don't learn about your injury and what you can do, particularly when you have a back injury and you have a balance issue because of being hit with, you know, direct energy weapons. Right? So if you don't know how to, you need to know, actually, and what your symptoms are, how to prevent certain things. Right?
Another dude passed by, and again, always they're going to move he puts his hands down, his fist down, right? And what that does, you see, you know, particularly when you get these Sambos and Sambina doing it, you know, for when we say black power, we raise our fists, right? But again, black power is not anti-white, it's not anti-Asian, it's not anti-Hispanic. It means that black people are beginning to love themselves, are beginning to put themselves first and each other first. The difference between black power and white power is rooted in the oppression of non-white people. Black power is not rooted in the oppression of anybody. It's the upliftment of black people, black men, women, and children. Okay? White power, on the other hand, is based on the systematic oppression of non-white people. Okay? So when I see these black Sambos and Sambinas, you know, they'll put their fist down, when they see me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the vast majority of Negropeans, they're white supremacists, particularly the Christians. They're white supremacists. They don't know it, right? But their action shows it. No love of self. They love white Jesus, though. Okay? And they will protect white supremacy with their life, because white supremacy and Jesus is the same.
So if you don't know how to, you need to know, actually, and what your symptoms are, and how to prevent certain things.
Now, again, the second time that
you just can't, be uneducated and remain ignorant about your targeting and what it is that they're doing to you. And if you're only talking about, religious persecution, then,
Now, when I say religious persecution, meaning that there are TIs who are there who feel that they're being persecuted because of their religion. And that's not true. You are not being persecuted because of your religion. Right?
Only partially right. Okay? But I understand that if you have health issues because of it, then you need to educate yourself and take the appropriate steps to help relieve some of the.
And here's the thing too. They'll use the holidays, right? Because it's coming to the holidays, Christmas or the winter solstice. I celebrate the winter solstice. I don't celebrate Christmas. Jesus Christ was not born on December 25th. He's a fictitious character. And if you go and you look at the history, the 25th in ancient time was the celebration of the winter solstice, right? That's the Kemetic and Egyptian celebration of the sun, right? Whereas on the 25th, they say a new sun is born, because at that point, the sun is at its highest point in the sky. It is the most high. So a new sun is born, right? And then you had Saturnalia, which when the Romans conquered Egypt, right? Their version of it was called Saturnalia. But it wasn't until after the 3rd century that I think it was during the 4th century that the 25th of December was used to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. All right. See, when you know your history, like I asked my daughter this week. I said, what are we celebrating? What's December 25th? And she's like, the winter solstice. I'm like, good. Glad you know. It's important that we teach our children the truth. Okay? We've indoctrinated our people with religion. Our parents indoctrinated us. Their parents indoctrinated them. And, like I said, I don't blame us, because, again, we had to do what we had to do from slavery. Okay? But we understand, we know the truth. The truth is out there. Even on the Catholic website, right? You can go and you read about the Council of Nicaea. And you can read the transcript. Right? Jesus didn't say he was the Son of God. They said that. And then they wrote that into their New Testament. Okay? But they had to have all these, what they call ecumenical councils, in order to get I don't want to say foundation, but to get the concepts together. Okay? I mean, it's there. You can go look it up yourself. But most people won't, because, again, they're too afraid. All right? Fear is a mother. Let me tell you, this is why they, particularly in the Black community, they engage in trauma-based fear programming, trauma-based fear programming.
The damage, you might not be able to cure everything, but you can definitely do things to relieve your pain, like for me, my arthritis. That's why I drink the New York Health Department. You know, I start drinking certain things. I cut down on my sugar, right? I cut down on my sugar for high blood pressure, cut down on my salt, and I drink moringa tea, particularly after, I drink it twice a day, sometimes even 3 times a day, because it is an effective way to reduce high blood pressure, okay? And, you know, like I said, there are things out there that you can do besides.
Okay, I'm gonna skip past some of this stuff because you guys can go and watch. Oh, okay, of course, you know the New York Predator Department shows up.
32. Synchronized. They're already there. And then across the street. Okay? Alright, look at that. 5132. Look, show you guys. Okay?
All right. Now I want to get to this part right here. With this dude right here.
Look.
Okay. Now as you walk past me, he now looks at me, right? Now remember, it is raining. You guys can hear it. It was pouring. I know you don't really see it on the camera too much, but it was raining. And look, and he got a stack of cash in his hands. Look at that. See that? Okay. I mean, how many times I gotta show you guys this stuff, right? Is this sort of bribe? But again, I always say, you know, don't. The only way that I want to see money, not somebody else counting, is if I'm counting it. Okay. All right. Put it in the in what do you call the not a bank, but a municipal what is it? Is it a municipal bank or something like that? Anyway, I can't remember what it is, but it's not like a traditional bank. All right, put that $932 trillion in there, right? You know what I'm saying? And then give me all the documents that the account is in my name, such and such. You know what I'm saying? Give me everything that I need. Give me such and such. You know what I'm saying? That's it. All black people getting reparation and more. So until that happens, I don't care how many of these dudes that you send counting money in front of me. It ain't doing nothing for me. You're not bribing me. Okay? And again, I see everybody have umbrellas, including me. He's the only one out here counting money in the rain. I'm telling you. Again, human behavior. Again, studying. You know, there's a video of an MIT professor, and he talks about, it's on YouTube. It's the study of human behavior. Watch that video. Go watch that video. Okay? So that's what I wanted to show. Now let's get back to, and this was yesterday. That's what I wanted to show, because I wanted to be able to zoom up so I can show you guys. Talk about this. All right? Like I said, I don't got to make shit up. I speak the truth. All right, so now let's get to today's video now.
Look at you.
Wait, sorry here. Let me, I think I played this already. Did I? Should not. I don't even remember now.
Welcome back.
Yes, I did play it. I did play because it actually no, I didn't play it. This was me. This was this one I played, not this one. Okay. All right.
And you did of the targeted individual program, targeted individual experience.
12.
What? I don't see any New York Predator Department vehicle outside. Let me tell you guys what happened. So, you know, early today.
Yeah, I said, let me tell you guys what happened. Listen.
Of the targeted individual program, targeted individual experience. What? I don't see any New York Predator Department vehicle outside. Let me tell you guys what happened. So, you know, early today, you know, I'm looking to see my son text me, letting me know he's on his way home from school. So I didn't hear from him. It was 4:30. Didn't hear from him. I called him. Excuse me. I called him. He didn't answer his phone. I think he called me back to let me know that he was at a pajama party at the school. Now he didn't tell me about it. If he did, I totally forgot about it. Right? So I'm like, okay.
So I talk about this, that whenever they target me this much, whenever, particularly with the remote monitoring, that my vision gets really, really bad. All right. And so, when I take my glasses off, I'm usually, no, I can't even read anything, even the bold letters, right? I can't read. All right. Now, when they stop the aggressive remote monitoring, the aggressive attack with the microwave and radio wave frequency, then my eyesight I don't have normal eyesight. I need reading glasses, right? But still, I'm able to at least read the bold letters. Okay? I can't even do that.
Like, what time is it over? 5:30. He said, all right. When it's over, you're on your way home, text me or call me. I didn't hear from him. It was about 6:30. I called him. He didn't answer. I text Pam. She didn't answer, so I called her. And then she didn't answer. I called her like 3 times, man. Because, at 6:30, his pajama party over at 5 o'clock, he get concerned. And so, look, the red vehicle right there. Right? They get a red car at the front to get here. Right? So anyhow. So she didn't answer. I'm like, what's going on here? So I texted her. Right? She didn't respond to my text either. So I ended up calling her again. She answered. And she was like, oh, I don't have my phone with me. I'm gonna watch. You're having I forgot to tell you, the people department comes out with the flashing their lights all the way up there about a block away. So she was like, oh, I'm decorating for the office party. She's like, oh, I didn't tell you. I'm like, yeah, you didn't tell me. I was like, that's how to put 2 and 2 together. No wonder why she called me late last night to ask about the laundry, and then was like, bye, like in an aggressive tone, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay. Whenever she has a date or something like that, party, she does like, son of the ambulance. Yeah, fuck y'all. Fuck you. What she gonna do? Right? You gotta make me subservient? Nope, not gonna happen. Never gonna happen. So again, they wanted me to stay. Bob Ham's at her office party, watch the kids. I'm like, nope, she didn't tell me anything about it. She didn't ask me. And of course she's not gonna ask me. Right? Because again, when she's done so much disrespectful shit, that to ask me, she's telling her friend, oh, I don't need his help and this and that. That's fine. Everything I help. Right? As much as I help you, you tell the people, your friend, I'll help you. I tell you, I already told her, I'm not your slave. I'm not your slave, I'm not your babysitter. Okay? Look, using the car box. Yeah? Look. Yeah, I'm telling you, they are so funny, man. This is a state. State-sponsored terrorism, state-sponsored stalking, harassment. Right? And again, because it's the state, they get away with it, right? Because it's the police department, they get away with it. Okay? With all the evidence I have, don't worry. Anyhow, so then, after I hang up the phone with her, a few minutes later, my phone rings. So she's calling me back, right? So I answered. I'm like, hello. And then I'm hearing, noise in the background. Whatever. Hello, noise in the background. Right? I hear her talking with her coworkers and shit like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's the game I want to play. And again, she's done this before when she's in the office and she'll call me in, and her phone will call me in. I hear her, and I'm like, hello. And I hear her coworkers, right? And her in the background. And what that is, again, is to say I'm being listened, I'm on the surveillance and such and such. It's hilarious, right? Because again, this is what they do. I'm talking about the false narrative. right? And I know exactly what to do to make them do certain things so I can prove what I...
Listen, it's not really funny, but being a TI, if you don't have a sense of humor, I'm not making light of what's happening to us as TIs, but for your mental state, your mental health, and not to get into a depressive way of thinking, even though sometimes it'll happen. But that's a lot of times you see me laughing because I have to make it into to be humorous sometimes. Okay, and again, it's something that I've learned over the years, is that this form of targeting, this form of oppression, this form of torture, you can become severely depressed. You can suffer from PTSD, which at times I do, right? You can suffer from a whole host of psychological symptoms because of the damage they've done to your psyche. So you have to at times, well, not you have to, but I at times will laugh, even though, it's not funny, People may say, look, if you on the surveillance, why is he laughing? Again, it's just, you got to keep up a sense of humor. There are days when you will feel depressed, right? There are days when, like I said, when I'm laying down and they engage in extreme noise attacks, right? So, like I said, learn about psychology, learn about these things will help you in the long run. It will definitely, and developing your own defense mechanism, right? And you got to understand too how they've affected your psychology negatively, right? So sometimes you'll avoid people, right? And they'll say, well, okay, you have avoidant personality disorder. Yeah. you have a paranoid disorder. Yeah, but because I'm paranoid doesn't mean that's what I'm saying that happened to me. I'm showing you guys. Okay? I mean, if you're walking on the street and a loud bang go off, you automatically get paranoid. You start running for cover. That's just part of who you are as a human being. It's part of your psychological makeup, right? It is the fight or flight phenomenon, and it's there because, again, it is what can save your life. Either way, right? Either you fight, either you flight. It's about, self-preservation. So knowing these things, when it happens, and my reaction to these things, I know that's just a natural thing for me or for any human being. So I'm not hard on myself. Is when you, at times, as again, I've done it where, they'll do certain things, right? And then you might hear a loud bang, or you might hear a couple of loud bangs, and you're like just standing there because you're like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who knows what can happen to you, right? So understand that it is perfectly okay to be afraid. It is perfectly okay to duck for cover, right? It is perfectly okay to do all of that because that's just part of your human psyche. All right? And again, like I talk about, you have to understand that there are people who do things to other people who are in position of power, who will engage in all sorts of tactics and methods. And again, sometimes you might not be able to prove it. How many times have you seen people, particularly black men, through the Innocent Project? I just watched a video again where an innocent man was sent to jail despite the DNA didn't link him to any crime. It wasn't his DNA. And he still got convicted. Right? Somebody else's DNA. But again, we've heard police officers, these white race, I don't care if you did it or not, you're going down for the crime. And like I said, how many more? How many more?
Been saying, right? So again, you got to think. When you're a TI, you want to prove that you're being targeted. There's certain things you got to do. You got to understand their personality, the narcissist, psychopathic, and sociopathic dark triad personality traits they have, right?
And also,
so so I hang up. So I was like, okay, y'all want to play that game? So I dialed her number, and I didn't say anything at all. All right, she was like, "Did my phone call you back again?" And she answered, and I just stayed there. I didn't say nothing at all. And then she's like, "Hello, hello, hello." I'm like, "Yeah, now you see how it feels, okay?" You know what I'm saying? Now you see how it feels. Keep doing it, keep doing it, okay? I'm gonna treat you how you treat me. So afterwards, the New York First Department started using their sirens. Like, again, I'm showing you guys how they're using women, particularly black women, how they are manipulating them, how they are giving them certain favors, you know, certain position entitlements and stuff like that to gain their loyalty, right, in order to control those of us who they fear. And we're not a threat to public safety, but the white supremacists fear us because of our minds, right? I mean, we talk, go and read the book, right? The United States of Blackmail, okay? And what we see is that they're using women to set up men, and particularly black men in general, okay, for a payday. This is what they do, for a payday. So again, black men, we have to be very careful with these women. Our women have sold out. They're sold out and they're sold us out. They're sold their children out. Okay? So anyway, so I had to go to use the bathroom because I had to go to speaking of the New York President Department. Look at it right there. Yeah. Y'all sharp, huh? Y'all supposed to be waiting from the side. I don't see y'all. Right? That's a subliminal message they tried to send me. They sent me the transmission they sent me. You know, in order to try to scare me and say, like she knew.
Outside waited. Please, just do that. Just do that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen. It is ridiculous. Oh, and I keep forgetting to. I gotta go get my prescription, my medicine. So I gotta call them. You know, like I said, sometimes I'm so focused with the targeting that I forget other things. You know. But that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to take your mind away from certain things. Right? And you can't help it, okay? Because again, it is constantly being done, right? So you can't help it. Okay?
She had a office party, she didn't say nothing to me, right? But by the ambulance, yeah. Anyhow. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm still recording. Alright, so again, you could have said something. No, because again, she wanted, you can see she know I'm a good person, so she's like, oh, I know he's a good person, he wants to stay with the kids. Yeah, I'm a good person, I stay with the kids at 8:30. Actually, a little after 8:30. Right? And I told the kids, I said, you know, after 9 o'clock, look at that, 9 o'clock, I'm not playing these games anymore. I'm not playing this game anymore. Again, and the kids got too late.
Go back a little bit here. Now talk about how they will find women that look like people that you know, other women that you know, right? And they've used women that look like Pam,
right?
Like, where did they find these women at? It's, you know what I'm saying? Do they search all over and then move them into the neighborhood? Okay.
And I told the kids, I said, you know, after 9 o'clock, look at that.
Right? Look at her. While she's walking, look at she's looking at her.
I'm not playing these games anymore.
Right? Again, how they use their kids. Right?
No, because again, she wanted, you can see she know I'm a good person, so she's like, oh, I know he's a good person, he wants to stay with the kids. Yeah, I'm a good person, I stay with the kids at 8:30. Actually, a little after 8:30. Right? I told the kids.
So look, they're walking. Right? Look, you see where her daughter is looking, right?
So, you know, after 9 o'clock, look at that.
Looking, then she turns around.
I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not playing this game anymore. Again, and the kids got too late.
And we know that what theme is that, right? We know that theme, right? Again, they will use some of the most horrible themes, right, to try to particular TI. You go to the website psychologicalharassment.com. Let me go there right now. I can show you guys the themes, the various themes that they use. Okay, let's see here. All right, then under the psychological manipulation theme. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. So under the psychological manipulation, right? The themes. Talk about themes. And I just talked about the narratives, right? So they use what is called the gradient themes, right? The gradient themes and indirect threats, verbal maneuvering to hide direct threats, right? The gradient theme, images and intrusive thoughts. The gradient theme, the pedophilia weapon. That's what they try to do right there. You know, that's why I love the site so much, because it breaks down what it is that they do, how they do it. Okay. Here, let's go back. All right, here's the gradient theme, the pedophilia weapon. Pedophilia is one of the most hated things in our society, and because of this, it can be used as a weapon. Being falsely accused or labeled of being a pedophile has very serious consequences for the victim of the phenomena or use of pedophilia as a weapon. Even when the accusation or label are disproved at a later time, the label or smear can stick. Although the accusation are false, the desired effect on the victim are usually high level of stress, anxiety, and fear, which is a part of the pedophilia weapon. Stress, anxiety, and fear being another form of weapon with serious effect on the body. So when I talk about weaponization of stress, right? Again, everything is weaponized. Okay, as a TI, understand that everything is weaponized against you, particularly stress. Okay, if you are under a lot of stress, it can raise your blood pressure. You can have a stroke. You can have mental illness. You can, and like I said, they understand the science. They study the science, so they know exactly how to manipulate us. So I'm always grateful for this site right here, and I always promote it all the time, because it is one of the best sites if you're a target individual, or if you're a person who wants to know what is being done to someone who say that they are targeted. But again, this is just the psychological aspect, right? So there is other aspects using technology and so forth, which again, I'll do another video on that, pretty soon also.
My daughter didn't get to school till after 10 o'clock this morning. Ethan got to school at 8:30, which I don't believe, because Alyssa told me that Ethan got left really late. So again,
his first period class, because after 8:20, they're not allowed to go into the classroom.
Like I said, I wear my red sweaters, but I need to get a red coat. That's what I need to get a red coat. Particularly when they start talking to me red a lot, I need to be wearing red. To nullify their shit.
Right. One of the things you can do to neutralize the things that they do to you, particularly using color, is to wear the same color. Okay? Wear the same color. Right? Just make sure that you understand the positive meaning of those colors. Okay? And the negative meaning also. Right? But the negative meaning of, let me put it like this, what they put into your mind, to your subconscious, right? You will know, because there's no way you cannot know. Either you'll feel it, or certain words. So either you have a negative emotional response, or you may have a negative thought pattern. Once you start to figure out the things that, the trigger, right, and the anchor, right? So you will associate, the trigger is the color, Could be something, could be a word, a phrase, and the anchor again is your emotions, right? Your negative emotions. Okay. And so then you need to understand, and this website too, the same website, psychologicalharassment.com. Okay. It'll give you, it'll help you, right? Positivity, colors, and a positive association of colors. Okay. Let me show you guys. And they're just using, as I said, positive association of colors. The department. Okay. Right. This site has helped me to counter a lot of the things that they've done to me. Right. Right. So positivity, colors, and their positive association. Right. And so I used to read this daily, every single day. Okay. Right. So you can, it gives you help. This is why I like the site a lot. Not only does it give you information, but it gives you information that can help you. Okay.
Right, to nullify this shit, right? So I need to get the color red. But anyway, they threats don't mean nothing to me. Like I said, I'm telling you this. I'm telling them this, and I'm gonna watch my video. If you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do it. Stop talking, stop sending a little message. Do it. Like I said, I'm not afraid. Just understand this. Like I said, it's my purpose, and it's gonna happen. And y'all gonna be in fucking trouble. We'll make sure I'm there when they handcuff y'all and do the perp walk. Make sure that. That's what you guys need to do.
That's right. Okay. See, when these people engage in their criminal act, again,
these perps. Let me tell you.
Engaging in a heavy dose of noise campaign, and I grab my phone to record, then they'll stop immediately. Right? So imagine that, right? Because again, I'm not a law enforcement officer, right? Because if it was them, they would be like, okay, well, you're acting suspicious, right? Well, they're acting suspicious. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? It's, I mean, the way how they have manipulated, not manipulated, but the way how they've designed the system to manipulate people, right? And then create these terms and definitions that they know is bullshit, right? Like suspicion. Okay, I'm walking on the street, right? I look over, I see a police car, 2 cops inside of it. I look away, continue to walk in the direction I'm walking. Next thing you know, I hear sirens. They're getting out of the car, and why you look so suspicious? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you looked at us, and then you looked and you walked away. Okay, is that suspicious? That makes me suspicious. So when you looked over at me, right, and you came over to me, can I say that? Why are you being suspicious? That you gotta come and stop me, right? I mean, this shit is so ridiculous, and they do that all the time. College student at a park studying, nice day, nice weather, decide to go to the park. Well, only kids can be in the park. No, the park is not only for kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and these people, I see the reason why they act like that, because again, the vast majority of the pedophiles are in the police department. Go look at the what is it? ProPublica? Is it ProPublica or the Washington Post article? You have thousands of cops engaging in pedophile behavior. Like I said, I don't got to make this shit up. They have investigative journalists that are exposing this shit every single day.
Well, yeah, they're sending the perps on the bus. Again, a lot of them are in red, right? Again, it's the whole manipulation tactics, and I've been saying this. What they do is that they manipulate you and they get people to participate in manipulating you. Like how they get Pam to try to manipulate. You know, for example, like I said, how I go into having a Christmas office party and not tell me. And then I find out, right, and then try to threaten me using your credit department.
Now, what you guys are going to see here is that they're going to start using teenagers, right, to engage in the blocking theme. Okay? So I want you to watch carefully. Watch what they do.
To, you know, try to threaten me, right? When I leave.
So you'll see a teenager here. You can partially see him right here. Okay? As he turns, right? So he just jumps in front of me now to turn, and again he had his hand. Like that, or he's hiding in his hand. You know what I'm saying? And now he's just like walking, blocking me, right? Again, it's a blocking theme. We're in all black. All right. I didn't notice the color. Like I said, I know when they use the color black or whatever color they're using to target me. Okay. And I'm experiencing what they do. Okay. Now,
you going in?
Right. So now he stands up in front of the door now, act like he's waiting for his two friends. Okay. Instead of him moving out the way so I can go, his friends are behind me. He's going to try and block me.
You know what? I got to go. Excuse me. Come on.
Now, I've been saying, look, let me play the video so you guys can see. Watch. And listen.
Come on.
Let me say, excuse me, right? Okay? Again, being courteous.
Anyhow. You going in or what? I gotta go. Excuse me. Come on.
Okay. Now look.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. You gotta go.
Gotta go. Yeah, the bus driver said. Now they were right there, right? And he was there. He just got off the bus. His friends was right there now. Didn't get on the bus. He didn't want to get on the bus. That's just a tactic that they use.
We have to go.
See, his two friends right there. Again, the bus driver was like, "Listen." He stepped back out off of the bus. So yeah. Again, why do I recognize these things so much? Because again, it's been done to me countless times. This is nothing new. Okay, this is nothing new. And where's the other one here? Okay, let me just do that one.
So that little skit that they do that from time to time. Right? Yes, wait for me to get bus, man. You know, bus moving. Right? Just leaving. Look what I said. Look. What the color meant, what I said. Right? I said, woman, license plate BR51948.
It looked like maybe because of
Is it red or orange?
the light.
Looks like reddish. No, it's red. It is red. Like a matted red. Anyhow, yeah, they did it from time to time. You know, but this time they're using teenagers. You know, is that whole threat. I'm like, listen, like I said, I do this, they do it, I'm still doing what I need to do. I'm not scared, I'm not afraid. Even when I'm sleeping in there, I just wake up and start targeting with the noise campaign. It will affect your nerve, but it'll pass.
You see, and what they do is try to destroy your confidence, right? But you see, they will try to build within you a false sense of confidence. But again, that is a false sense of confidence. That is not you. That is you buying into their lies, to the manipulation, right? Because again, they want to turn you into their narrative. This is how they create certain narratives about certain people, right? So they can, again, they pick and choose people who they want to experiment on, and then get rid of them by creating certain narrative, even turning those people into whatever narrative they want. Okay?
I've been to it many times. Right? I've been to it many times. I said, I'm not afraid to die. Whether they get a teenager to pull it, whatever, or whatever, I'm not afraid to die.
Listen, I leave my house every single day under the threat of being assassinated. Okay? Even at times when I was extremely frightened, I still left my house. Okay? Even a time when I felt like so fragile because of what was being done, I still left my house. Either to go to work or to go be with my kids, to go play with my kids, to take them out, what have you. Okay? This is what they've done for years. And then want to send me a subliminal message about, my pride. Pride. My pride wouldn't have me doing what I do. Okay? What I'm doing. Then it's like, oh, well, he's hurt. I have medical records to show it. I have psychological evaluation to show it. I have my videos to show it. What else? What else? So yes, I'm hurt. In more ways than one. And you can't fix that. You can give a false, try to give a false perception that you could fix it, but you can't. The neurological damage you've done to my brain, it ain't gonna heal. Okay? There's a reason why there's the dark triad personality types. Okay? Because people who do this to other people, and those who are in positions of power who do this, it is their mental illness. It is their dark triad personality traits. It is their psychopathy, their sociopathy, their narcissism.
Question is, are they afraid to die? Are they afraid to lose everything that they got targeting me? Right? I'm talking about those criminals in the New York Police Department, New York Predator Department, I should say. The Predators and the Predator Force. Right? Talk about they're going to take everything from me. Well, I'm going to take everything from you. Either way. From them, I should say. Either way. So what happens when you have criminals who are in positions of power, who carry a gun and a badge. These are psychopaths and sociopaths. And they hate when you speak the truth. They hate when you expose them for who they are. Right? Their action shows you exactly who they are. Keep saying, stop listening to what they say. Watch what they do. Look at their actions. All right? Look at their actions. Look at how they attack good cops. Right? Because they don't want good cops. They want cops who are criminal-minded, who have a criminal nature.
That's right. So they can continue to get away with what it is that they're doing. Now you guys hear the sirens in the background?
Okay? And that's the vast majority of these criminal cops on the police force. Now,
See, I keep saying they don't want to change. They want you and I to change, to allow them to do what it is that they're doing to us.
I see, for the past couple of days, like I said, yesterday and today, a lot of red vehicles parked up on my block. All of a sudden, a lot of red vehicles, because, like I said, I was talking about the color red, another red car here. And you guys should go look at all my footage from 2 days ago and prior, so a week back. The same woman right here, she's circling around the block. I guess she's looking for parking. But you know what it is. Anyhow, you get a noise campaign? You hear the noise campaign? Alright, I guess, you know what it is? I guess they have her circling around the block. She's not looking for parking. She was at a parking space. But they had her circling around because I called her license plate number. Yeah, because as soon as she drove by, you hear the siren stop, right? You hear that? Again, observing what it is that they do. Exposing what it is that they do. Okay? Like I said, just do it. Right? I remember when they used to try to get me to be angry and, we go see the monster. And they'll use the guy with the Nike shirt, just do it. And I'm like, do what? I don't know what it is what y'all want, but I'm not going to do that because that's not me. See, y'all can manipulate me in certain ways in the past, but you can't do it no more. Okay, you cannot do it no more. And that's what they hate. And I'm going to teach to other people. By doing my video, I'm teaching people exactly what it is that they do and how to avoid their traps and their emotional manipulation and psychological manipulation.
Yep. And imagine the extent that they go through, right? In order to shadow ban me, in order to prevent me from uploading my videos. They'll, just imagine. Right? But I'm crazy. Okay? All right? Now, again, I can always admit I'm paranoid, right? And that doesn't mean that what you say isn't happening to you, right? Because that's just your body natural, or your mind natural defense mechanism, right? The fight or flight. So, I always say these things. Never be ashamed to say that you're afraid. Never be ashamed to say that, they have you paranoid. Never be ashamed. Okay? Because what they want you to do is to be this emotionless individual so they can demonize, so they can create a villain, right? So then what that does is that allow the public to treat you as if you're not a human being. But the same thing will be done to, what really pains me, particularly for me being a black person, to see black people do this to me, is the fact that the same thing is being done to them. The exact same thing is being done to them. When they travel overseas, they're being treated worse, particularly if they go to European countries. In African countries, they don't even like black Americans, because the manipulation has been done so well to the minds of black African people that they literally think black Americans, they think of them as being, again, they demonize Africans in Africa. They demonize African Americans in the minds of African people in Africa. Okay? But, like I said, I know what it is that they've done. And they know that I know. All right? Anyhow. I think I still got something.
You gotta have critical thinking. You gotta get out of the system of belief and get into the system of knowing and having critical thought and critical analysis of not just yourself and your psychology, but the people around you. Okay? And including those in society. Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.
All right. Well, that's it for the video. Talk to you guys on the next Target Individual program.